Today we're doing something that I would not recommend to any disc golfer ever. And that's because a couple of weeks ago I posted this video right here, which is about going slower in order to get farther into the pocket. And in reality, I should be working on that specific form piece for the next month or so until it's actually dialed and it's in my muscle memory. But I'm a YouTuber. I don't go by the rules. So today we're working on footwork. And that's because one of you guys called Met observed something in that video and commented it down below, which, please, if you ever see a flaw in my game or something that I should work on to help me gain more distance, let me know in the comments. Unless, of course, you're scared I'm going to beat you on the tour. Right, let's get to the point. Basically, what he observed is that when I run up, my final step goes too far out to the left, causing me to kind of immobilizing my hips a little bit and throwing my momentum in the wrong direction before throwing in this direction. And I do really think that is true, and it is something that I've worked on before and actually kind of currently as well. So really interesting that you spotted that, and that's really fun. Now, I believe that there's something prior to the final step that actually makes me do that. And that is because when I get into my X step here, by default, I kind of land like this, and then I turn everything around until it's like 90 degrees backwards compared to like this, or 180 degrees backwards, I guess, compared to this 90 degree angle that it's supposed to be 90 degrees from my target, or like 120, that's fine. But then when I'm in this position, how in the world am I getting to this position here, which is like the perfect stagger? That looks awkward, doesn't it? And my hips are completely open, I can't even move. So instead, what I do, by default, is I'll step out here. And then again, I've kind of moved my momentum in the wrong direction, and it's killing my distance, I think. So today, we're going to be working on getting that X step perpendicular to the target so that I can step more forward, but still close my hips, or coil, as Overthrow Josh would say. And then I actually have mobility in the hips to turn back and forth like this, and I can actually use them. At least that's the idea. I'm at my home course. We're just gonna throw a couple of shots on each hole. It's kind of how I like to practice. And I'll take you on for a ride. That's my typical problem when I work on this. I heiser everything. But we're gonna fix it. But yeah, that is another thing that I hope you get out of this video, is kind of my practice routine. Sometimes when it's bad weather or something, I go back home and I throw into my net, and that's all good. Or I'll go out to a soccer field and just throw shots in the open, and that's all fine and good, and I think that's good to do every once in a while just to get some reps in. But my favorite way to practice, because then there isn't that transition from practice field to course, is to just practice on the course. And I'll take a couple of extra drivers out. I'll just throw 6-8 drives on each tee until it feels kind of comfortable, or I feel like I've achieved what I wanted to do on that hole. And I'll putt 10 times on each basket, and I actually have on-course practice. Let me know. Do you guys do that? I feel like it's the best way to practice. Oh! See, I did it there. That's a characteristic thing for me, isn't it? I've done that a couple of times where I kind of line up my run up here to where I feel like I should land here, but then I do that extra wide stride and end up landing farther left than I expected, and I don't know, slip or something, and I ended up stopping the throw. This is weird. I feel like I'm completely open when I get to the throw, because I'm used to being here, which is really close, and now I'm here. I don't know. I'll do 3 more shots here, probably 4 more. I brought 4 launcher USs today because that's my main backhand driver. Okay, I did actually turn back again there. It's like I land perpendicular, which is good, but then for some reason I don't lock my foot in, so I end up just pulling it back around, which is super weird. Should probably turn you guys down a little bit here so you can actually see my footwork. It's just kind of a weird angle, you know? Okay. Felt decently powerful, but I still don't feel like I'm coiling all the way back. So much hyzer. How did it prevent that? What is this? Nice. So that's pretty much what I'll do. I'll throw a bunch of shots off the tee, and then I'll go putt from a couple of different positions on the hole, and that'll give me some putting practice, but without me having to stand out in the cold and putt for an hour. That was pretty nasty. Can we not get that wobble? I need some putting practice. Now, hole 2 here is not a distance hole in any way, so we're going to focus on the gap hitting. Not going to do too many shots here, but we'll take a couple, see if we can actually get it to go straight without turning back too much. Okay, early release. Haven't seen that before. That'll look better. Let me actually try putting down a towel here where I wanted to hit. Okay, one sec, I have a phone. Right, what was I saying? I was putting down this towel, right? Oh yeah, that's the idea. So I'll put down a towel where I expect my my foot to land, because sometimes it feels different than it actually is, and I will feel like I'm stepping forward, but I'm actually stepping way out still. So I think that could be a good way to like control if I'm actually hitting the spot that I'm looking for. Okay, hit a little bit left of where I want it, I guess. Oh! I stepped too far. I slipped off the tee pad. Okay, interesting, interesting. Cool. Now, I did start the video by saying that I wouldn't recommend this to anyone working on 2 different form pieces at once. So you might ask, why you're doing it then? Are you stupid? And yes, and no. I am kind of stupid, but also I'm able to practice a lot more than the average disc golfer currently. I'm playing basically every single day if there's good weather, or practicing indoors if there's bad weather. As you can obviously see, not working too much on my putt lately, because it's winter. But practicing as much as I do right now allows me to cycle through a couple of different form pieces at once, or I guess faster than the average person. And also, I've worked on pretty much every single form piece that you can imagine and made it work like isolated earlier in my career. So right now, I just need to like make all the form pieces work at once and try and get it to be a muscle memory, which is obviously the hardest part. Now, I don't know if that's the correct way to do it, or if I should really just go strictly one by one. And if you know, let me know, because I need to know. I'm tired of not being as good as I should be. With all that I practice, I should be way better at backhand than I actually am, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm willing to grind, and I will win the national championships in 2026. Hopefully. I probably won't, because the talent in Denmark is really increasing, but that's my goal. There, I said it. If I work harder than everyone else for the next 2 years, there's a chance I could beat the best players in Denmark. You never know. Gotta strive for the best. That felt really weird. When I'm focusing all my attention forward, like I am with this video, to try and land my foot at the right place, I never really get my attention back and actually coil back enough. But I guess that'll come by time. Okay, Josephine from the editing room here, and I want to make a little bit of a correction, because this is one of the cases where what I'm talking about here in the video is that it feels like I'm never really coiling all the way back and not getting into the position where I need to pull from. But as you can clearly see on this still photo right here, I am in the perfect coiled position with my upper body. So I do actually get my attention back. What I'm realizing here by watching it in post
is that the real problem and the reason why it feels like I'm never really coiling back is because I'm already coiled basically all the way forward and in the middle of the throw when I brace on my right foot. You can see it on this still photo right here. This is when I'm landing on my brace foot and I'm basically all the way into my power pocket and my disc is on the way forward. This little timing issue is definitely to be expected when working on something as fundamental as footwork, and it's gonna mess up pretty much everything in my throw in this video and probably in a couple of weeks ahead. And that is the beauty of doing form work, right? You think you're really good and you think you're fixing something, but by fixing something, you're creating a new problem that you then need to work on next. All right, let's get back to it.
I hate this form piece. Sometimes you gotta do things for the long run. Once I get this down, I could be better at disc golf. I should be better at disc golf. It's a definite problem that I have. Just a stray thought. Do you guys think it can be something to do with hip mobility? Like, is that a problem? Getting turned back enough without turning my foot because I don't have enough hip mobility? Some physical therapist help me, please. I've been leaving my putts low today. Just try and put some more on it. And that's what happens when you put more on your putt. Pull it to the right. Typical. Okay, hole 4 here is usually a forehand hole, but this is going to actually force me to think a little bit about my angle control, which isn't the main purpose of this video, but it's good to mingle it in there a little bit, I think. So I'm going to have to try and not get too far out, but maybe allow myself to get a little bit farther out to the left while throwing on Anheuser out there to the left. As you have obviously observed throughout the video so far, I've released everything on Heiser, and that is, I believe, pretty natural when you're trying to pull your brace point into the right. Because if you look at pros and other people with good form, the more Anheuser they throw, the more they will stagger out. So basically what I'm telling my body and my form, my usual form, is that, okay, we're throwing a Heiser because I'm going less out. So it does make sense, but still trying to break it. Still Heiser. Still a little bit of Heiser. Not sure what my feet did there. I probably went too far left, if I was to guess. One of the things that I might be realizing is that like my weight distribution just doesn't allow for me to get my hand out wide on the release point, because I feel like when I step forward and not out, I have all my weight pretty centered, and when I then throw out my hand like this, that will like pull me forward, which is not what we want to do. We want to have good balance when we release it. So I need to counterweight with my left foot or something, or just try and lean back into it a little bit, like lean my butt back a little bit. I'm not sure. This is confusing to me, I'll be honest. Usually I have a good idea of what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. Feels very uncomfortable. Oh, did I just hit that log? I mean, that does feel pretty effortless and not very powerful, and it's 115 meters. Am I actually throwing far even though it doesn't feel like it? Nah, that's not far. Okay, we have a launcher, stable driver. We have to put it on Anheuser. Gotta force it over here. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Looking for this angle. Yeah. But am I doing the right thing with my feet? Disc golf is hard. Somebody just walked by and picked up one of my discs and was like, what is this thing? And just threw it into the forest. Don't judge the pedestrians. They don't know disc golf. Well, that was a little bit troll. Launcher US is definitely not the the disc for this hole, but it doesn't really matter where it goes in the end. Just gonna try and hit the gap. get the release point right. I'm gonna try and go a little bit slower, I guess. Maybe I should allow myself to get my leg back a little bit, or my foot back a little bit, just to let myself like actually get my hips back. Felt more comfortable, but I didn't focus at all on my release there. Maybe I'm actually never really getting the weight shift done. Never really getting onto my right foot because I'm focusing so much on my left. Is that a thing? I don't know if it is. Oh my word. Don't you just love practicing? I'm so confused. This is everyday disc golf. We don't filter anything on this channel, huh? You guys are really seeing me from my worst side right now. Knowing nothing of what I'm doing. Oh, and then I do that. I got it on Anheuser. Hello? Let's just jam a couple of jump putts here. That's one. That's two. No! I'm turning forward way more than I usually do. And I usually turn too much forward, so that's not a good thing. Need to focus on, when I get into this position, getting my hand forward instead of getting myself forward, like my shoulders forward. But then that's an extra form piece that we're now working on. So now we're 3 and 1. Like, so hard to focus on one thing at a time because everything is tied together, you know? How do you do that? That's so much better, 100 times better. Instantly, as soon as I focused on that. But then did I do the right thing on my foot? I don't know. Is this really something that you guys want to watch? Me being miserable about being bad at backhand? I guess it's... I mean, I hope it's not relatable for any of you guys. But chances are it probably is a little bit relatable for most of us. Having those struggles when we're practicing form. It's not always fun, dude. But I still have the same passion for the game and passion for getting as good as I can at whatever I'm doing. So I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. Now for this entire video, I have been hyper focusing on one specific form piece. And now, to finish off the video, I'm gonna stand on this kind of distance showcase tee. And I'm gonna allow myself a little bit of wiggle room and allow myself to focus on my entire form just in general and see if anything has changed or how my form looks now. Still gonna focus a little bit on the footwork, but I'm gonna try and actually throw this as well as I can. Focus too much on the footwork. So much better. So much better. Not very far though. Should be a little bit higher and a little bit more any because I have a tailwind. Stable guy, put it on some Anheuser. Lot of Anheuser, huh? Oh, sorry, I meant Heiser, of course. No Anheuser on anything. That was powerful. But still on a lot of Heiser. It's so short. But that's the conclusion. And that's, like I said, like that. This is how my practice sessions usually go. It feels so bad in the moment when you're trying to focus on something because you can't fix anything in one session. That's just how it is. I still do believe that I have probably made some progress today in some way. Gotten my body used to some positions that are more correct than I usually get into. And at some point something will click and you'll have one of those days where all of a sudden it just goes 50 meters further or something like that. I am sorry if it seemed a little bit miserable, me throwing everything on 4 degrees of Heiser, but hey, you asked for this video and I delivered. If this is something that you want me to you want to see more of, this more raw version of practice in disc golf, and just generally follow along on my journey to actually becoming good at the game, let me know. Put it in the comments, like the video, and enjoy your time and get out there and practice if you want to get better. But if you just want to enjoy the game, kudos to you. I'll see you next Monday or next Wednesday. I don't know which day this one is coming out on. One bonus shot.